Hi everybody, it's Diana with stampingwithdie.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Mimeograph Monday with a twist. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Diana and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. And we've had some crazy weather this monsoon season of Arizona. Another storm last night knocked out the power. Like the wind and the rain, it's just crazy. We do need rain in Arizona, but not all in one day, we always say. So wherever you are, I hope you are well and the weather isn't super crazy. So Mimeograph Monday with a twist is today, and that just means I'm going to do a projects from the catalog, the way I think that they did the card, and then I'm going to do a twist on it, and that's going to be my version, and then you can just let me know which one you like the best. I come usually I'll say live, even though I'm pre-taping, but I watch with you live, so I'm able to answer your questions since we are out in the boonies and we do, like I said, lose power now and then with storms. I've been pre-taping my videos lately because I was having a little bit of issues when I was doing them live. The reception wasn't good, or I was losing connections. So this is what I've been doing recently. And then I simply watch with you, and so I'm off to the side in the chat. So if you do see the chat going on live, that means you are watching the live. If you don't see that, then just leave a comment down below, and YouTube will let me know if you have any questions, and I will reach out to you. And so anyway, so today is Mimeograph Monday with a twist, and I do have my one class. I want to show you everything because I didn't have all the pieces when I showed you the other day, so I want to go over that, and then otherwise we're going to get started. So I'll stop blabbing. So I'm going to spin the camera, and I'll try to do it quick so I don't get you seasick. All right, so hold on. So that wasn't too bad. If I loosen up my camera stand, it does make it spin a little easier. All right, so let me get that pretty good. All right, so last week I talked about my October and November classes coming on. This is the October one because and their wall supplies last only because I have so many bundles, and that is it. So this is actually what this class is, so you can see. So you're gonna get a gel pen, a package of polished dots. You're going to get smoky slate and gray granite Stampin' Blends, and you're also going to get the Hippest Hippo bundle. So it's a stamp set and the die. Now you can't switch anything out because I have just enough for the class. That's why I'm saying wall supplies last, because you know I just have the amount that I can do. And then you're also going to get the cute little You Are Awesome. It's an adorable little notebook with the hippos on it. I could not resist, and I thought it was perfect for this class. So these are all the pieces for the class. Now some people are like, I already have the bundle. Then it's totally up to you. You were not forced to ever take a class from me. If you want to do the class, you could sell your bundle, you could give your bundle away, but the class does include the hippo stamp set and the bundle, and the class is $60, and that includes everything I showed here. You'll be doing 5 projects, so you'll get the supplies for those, and then it includes the priority postage, the PDF with the close-up pics, and the private video link. Now I do not sell my PDFs, and I have a lot of people ask, so I don't know if I'll ever do that. And anyway, so let me put this aside. All right, because I wanted to show that better. All right, so also this is September's host code. So if you aren't in one of my stamp clubs, and if you are ordering less than $150 before tax and shipping, please use my host code when you're ordering in my store. I really appreciate that. All right, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. So let's get to the cards. So we are doing, I didn't have to turn the catalog too far to get the card I wanted to do, and it's this one right here. I love this die. It's this really cool, it's just kind of a latticey looking die, and so I had used it not I didn't have her demonstrate it, but I had punched it out on paper one time just to see how cool it looks, and it's super cute. So this is the card I'm going to do. So I have my recipe, so it tells me what I need to pull out of my stash to make the card. I do want a grid sheet, I know that. Alright, it is photopolymer, so I know I will need this. So here is the cute little stamp set. So it's Happiness Abounds, and it has a matching die. So this is where this die comes from, and it also punches out, or die cuts out, the flowers. So that is super cool. So that's what I'm using there. Alright, so let's see. Okay, let's see. I also want, we also are using the Glossy Dots assortment. Alright, so excuse my arms while I get all my stuff out. Alright, so here's the pieces that we will need. And I have already stamped and die cutted out the flowers just to save on time for the video. Now they use the blend, so that's what I'm going to be using. So I did stamp ahead of time with the Memento. When you're using the Stampin' Blends, you have to use the Memento. So I used those. So let's kind of get our card going here. So we have our basic white as our card base. So yes, it was a crazy storm last night. And then Jeff went fishing, so he was gone overnight. And I do not like storms. And I was like calling him, like, are you okay? Like, because I was worried about him. He's out in a tent, right? And he's like, it wasn't doing anything where he was. So I was glad that he was okay, because I at least had the shelter of the house. All right, so I'm just going to use my Stamparatus, because this DSP is just the right size, so it fits on there just perfectly. So I just use the Stamparatus so that I can make sure it's in that corner. So I'm going to use my Tombow Multi. Now I just put it in one of these little containers off of Amazon, and I'm just going to squeeze that on there. And then all I do is just using the Stamparatus, since the corners are all together, and then it just makes sure that it's in the right place. Alright. So there. So that's all I need that for. Okay. So now this is in the right place. Now, what's so funny is when I was looking for this paper, this DSP, I had pulled out this piece. Now this is the Hues. There's my little sheets. Hues of Happiness. This is the Hues of Happiness DSP. So when I was looking at it, I was like, how on earth did they get red and pink and yellow all in one piece? And I fiddle-farted around with this piece for so long. And then I opened up a new package, and then I was like, well, no wonder it is this piece. So it's the piece that had this. But I had used all of these ones from the pack that I had opened, so I didn't see it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they must be a magician. So if you are going to do this card, it is this piece. It has the colors closer together, not the one that has the flowers behind. So anyways, I mean, I was looking through my stash, and it was just too funny. So anyways, so yeah. So always look at all the paper. All right, so we have this. Now what I want to do is I want to bring my flowers over, and like I said, I already cut them out with the die. And so here is that really pretty die, and it has things that pop out, but it has things that stay in. So see, there's like, so it cuts. So what you can do is you can fold them back the other way, so then these flowers will actually come out, so they'll have some definition that way. But if you want to see the cutest little hearts, when I was punching them out, so I just stuck them on here so you could kind of see them better. But look at these cute heart shapes that you get from this die. They're just like a really kind of cute little heart. So I'm not using this color. I just thought it would be easier to see, you know, how cute these hearts are when they're actually in like a heart color. But aren't they fun? So definitely don't throw away your little pieces, because they would be cute in a shaker card too. So anyways, so this die is super fun. So anyways, that's why my desk has got so much stuff on there, because I was like, oh, I have to show this and I have to show that. All right. Okay, so let's get our flowers colored. And we are using Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Old Olive, and Mossy Meadow. All right. So let's get our Flirty Flamingo flowers. So what I'm going to do is I want to make it be really dark where the centers of the flowers are, like where they would overlap. So I'm going in with my dark and just putting quite a bit of dark there. Then I want to take my light. Now I'm not going to do all of them, just because I want to be able to blend them and I don't want it to soak into the paper too much. And then I'm just going to go in with my light, and then I'm just going to let the tips of the flowers keep some white on them. So it just makes it go lighter all the way to the end. So this is just a light flirty, and I'm just filling that in, but like I said, I'm just leaving a little bit of white here and there on the flower. And if you want to cut down some of that line, just touch that light flirty into the dark just a little bit. Don't go all the way to the center, because then you're just going to lighten it up like a whole lot. And then I'm going to take my dark again, and I'm just going to go back and just add a little bit right along those lines where it might have got a little lighter. And then you've got your beautiful flower. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. Now sometimes I do dark first, sometimes I do light first. I think that it doesn't necessarily matter so much, so I don't want anyone freaking out. I get so many questions in regards to watercoloring in the blends, like, well, how do you get this color, how do you get that color? Mine don't, you know, look like that. And it's really practice makes perfect. Also, don't stress, have fun. Don't worry if it doesn't look like mine. I have been coloring since I was a kid. I took art classes all through school. So not that I'm an artist, by no means, but I mean, so I've had, you know, maybe a little bit longer than some of you to mess around. And what's fun is just practice with nature, with the flowers, because they're so forgiving. So, because look how beautiful that is, and it just, so I don't want you stressing. All right, so then again, go back with the dark. And I have people go, what colors should I get? And I always ask, even when people would come to a workshop and want to know what ink pad to buy, I would always see, what stamps do you have? Because I could ramble off all my favorite colors, but if you don't have a stamp set that goes with those colors, so I always say, what stamp set are you coloring? So if you're coloring flowers, you know, then you have a lot of different colors you can pick from. But if you're doing you know, critters or whatever, then maybe you want to stick, you know, you might want to get the tones, right? Because then you have all those colors. So always ask me, and I'll help you figure out what colors you need. All right, so Melon Mambo. Now Melon Mambo, it's a darker color than the Flirty. So I'm going to start with the lighter one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come in. I'm going to leave a little white around the edges. But I'm coloring it in quite a bit, except for that on the top. And if you don't like that white, you can totally color it all the way in. But I just want to have a little bit of white here and there. So again, this is the light. I love Melon Mambo. It's such a fun reddish pink. Alright. So same thing. I don't want to do all of these flowers too, because I want to be able to go in with my dark. And then I'm just going to put dark, like where the flower overlaps. And that just makes those petals stand out. So it would be dark in the center here, where that curl is of that petal. Make that dark. Again, this would be dark in here. And then we're going to go back with that light and soften some of these lines. So just play around. You might find, you know, at the beginning, you might go, you know what? I always want to start with the light and then the dark, which is totally fine. But like I said, you might want to, certain colors, you might want to do one or the other. All right, so now I just want to knock down a couple of these lines just a little bit, so it's not too stark. So I'm just touching with the light, but I kind of like that. I like that look to it with the white around it. So then we're going to do the same thing with the other ones. So again, start with the light. So what I'll do to show you the difference, I will color this one all the way. It's just a flower. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to color this one all the way and not leave those white edges. And then you can kind of decide, like, well, that didn't take that long. All right, so let me see. So I'm coloring this whole flower with the light. And again, this is Melon Mambo. So I'm just quickly coloring it. There's a little bit of white there, that's okay. But I'm not leaving a lot of white like the other one. Then I'll take my dark and we're going to add the dark around the nooks and crannies, just like I did before. Around there. So you can see the difference in the two, and then you can decide, like, well, if you like the white on there or not. So it's a little bit faster to color without, you know, having that white. But see, you can see the difference between this one and this one. But I used the same blends. I just did less white areas. All right, and then let's do this one. So again, it's the light one first. And I'm just working my way. So it was Jeff's mom's birthday yesterday. She's 86. So we jabbered with her for a little bit. It was so nice to see her in the last of July and first part of August. We took a really quick road trip to Illinois. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the dark. I was talking to my friend Susan because she just did a road trip. And I was like, you know, we had, I think, I think one was a 13-hour day and one was like 11 or something like that. And that's a long time to be in the car. And you would get out to go potty or whatever, and my hips were just like screaming, "You are not a young woman anymore, old woman." So Jeff likes to drive. I mean, I don't mind. You can see more, you can stop, you know, if you have to go pee, and so it was fine. But oh my gosh, my body. So here's this one. So I left some more white on this one, just then you can decide what you like the best. All right, so then the leaves are, now the leaves are a little bit differently. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take my light, light Old Olive. Now this time I'm going to color all of them, because the leaves, I don't worry too much about, you know, that line, that dark line that you don't, if you don't want that dark line. Remember I would tell you, like, don't color all of them, because then your colors soak in. But I don't mind so much with the leaves. Alright, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm leaving a little bit of a white around the edge. This is light Old Olive. Alright, and then I'll go dark Old Olive. So I'll just come from there and just pull it out. So I'm just kind of making it be kind of like lines. So because it's a leaf, right? Because there's no lines in the actual stamp, so I'm just giving it a little more something something with my blend. Give it a little personality. And then I'm going to take the light Mossy Meadow, and just right in the corner I'm just going to give it some Mossy Meadow. So it's not tons different, but it's just going to make that down there in the nooks and crannies of the point, it's going to be like a lot darker. If the dark one is really, really dark, so I'm just using the light one, because the dark Mossy is almost black. All right, so there's the leaves. All right, now I also want to do my greeting, so let me bring this over here, and then we can put our card together. Now this one was fun. I say that every week, right? Oh, the twist card was fun, and I think it's just because, you know, I do my own little artistic, my whatever you call it, artistic license, would that be the word? All right, so they did some embossing, so I'm using my Versamark, and this is the congratulations. Let me get this out so that I can get that ready. All right, let me ink that up again. Too many things going on. So I have my heat gun heated up, plugged in off to the side. All right, so we got our congratulations with our Versamark. Now you can also stamp that with the white craft. It will do the same thing. All right. And then you'll be able to see, you know, where that is. They use Versamark, so I'll do the same thing. All right. Let me heat that up. Off to the side here. So once it turns, you want, I don't want to blow my powder everywhere. All right, so once it turns, then you move along. All right, so there's that. But while I have that powder out, I want to do the greeting for the other card. So hold on a second. Let me grab that, and then I can put my powder away. Can I get that quickly? All right. So for my twist card, I wanted to have it be like a shape, and I'll show you that die after. But I might as well do that while I have my Versamark out, and then I can put this away. All right. That's called doing two things at once. I don't know what that's called. All right, so then put that right over top. It just fits. Just fits. All right. So then there we go. Okay, there you go. Now I can do that without getting my powder everywhere. All right, so now we're going to go heat that up, and once it turns, you just move along to the next section. Turn it around so I don't burn my fingers. Very good. All right. Unplug your heat gun. Unplug. All right. Now what I should have did was use my tongs. So these are the cute little tongs that comes with, and you have a brush. You also have a, oh my gosh, I can't think what it's called. I stuck it in my little container. It makes your embossing powder your embossing buddy. And the little tray that I just showed you are something that's new, that's in the mini catalog. And basically, these are tongs that you can hold, but I don't know what they're called, reversible tongs or something, because I'm not having to squeeze, because it's squeezed, but then it holds. So if I'd have used this, I could have just did it in one shot. I wouldn't have had to spun it around. So anyway, so if you don't have this little assortment, you definitely want to grab it. It's super cute and really handy if you like to do embossing. All right, so now I'll just stick that over for the other card. All right, so that was like a little commercial or whatever. All right, so let me just cut this really quickly, and I'm just fussy cutting out the congratulations with an old pair of snips. I wish we still had these. I should just use my paper cutter, but I have these sitting on my table. I have ones for paper and I have ones for ribbon. All right, then what we're going to do, we're going to make it have a fish tail. So all you do is cut up to the center, and then you just meet your ends, and then that gives you a fish tail. You know, it's not as perfect as a punch would be, but it's still super cute, and it still gives your that little greeting a little bit of flair. All right. Now I also want this because, so this is what we're going to put our flowers on. So we have all our pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some glue dots, and I'm going to load my glue dots up with all of these pieces, and then we're just going to stick them on the card. Come on, I can't even pick it up. So we're going to stick it to the card and make our kind of like a garden look. Right. So you can see through this. So it kind of reminded me like vellum. You know how like I always, when I have you attach stuff to vellum, I always attach it to the vellum before we put it on the card. So this is kind of the same way, because you have all of these holes, you know, you don't want your glue showing through. So what we're going to do is we're going to build it here before we put it on the card. So we have, so we're just going to go leaf, and I just have one glue dot on there, so that if I have to, I can take it off and and I can move it if I need to. All right, so 1, 2, let's see, I want a leaf down here. I'm gonna put a flower. So we're just building our garden kind of around here. That looks good. And so see, I need to move that. So that's why I'm going to move this one. No, I'm not. I'm going to move this one. So I just kind of barely had them on there because my greeting's going to go on there too. Alright, so we've got that going on. I kind of hid this flower, or hid this leaf. But I just barely tacked them on there. Alright. Alright, I also want this to have glue dots. And then this is going to go on here like that. So we're building our garden, our card on here before we put it on the card. Now they also, and I'd never done this with this ribbon before, they took some baker's twine. Now this is just the white baker's twine that comes in a multi-pack, and they used the blends to color it. So I'm just using the flirty, so they used the flirty blends to color the baker's twine. So I'm just doing that. It's a little harder than regular ribbon because it twists and turns. I'm doing it like the catalog. Now when I do my twist card, I didn't do this part of it because that's what the whole fun about the twist is, the change and the things that I learn when I make the original card. Then I go, well, if I'm going to do that again, I'm going to, you know, not do this or not do that. And that's kind of how this started. All right, so let's bring this over. So now I want dimensionals. And we can see our flower through here. So now we know where we can put our dimensionals, because then they won't show through the front of the card because the pieces are covering it. So I'm just kind of sticking them here and there. We won't put any over here. Well, I guess I could because, you know, this is kind of big. But you just want to make sure that you're not going to be able to see that dimensional. So hopefully that'll be all right. All right, so then we're going to stick this on here. And then when you do that that die that makes all those holes, you just kind of wiggle it around on the piece of paper and to get your to get that vine look. All right, so we have this, so pretty. Let's get our inside, and we have to do our ribbon. I'm just giving it a little bit of time to dry before I get my fingers all over it, because it is that cotton ribbon, so it'll take a little bit longer to dry than maybe some of the thinner ribbons that I've done that with before. Alright, so this just puts that little piece on the inside. I'm not stamping anything on the inside of the card, so that when I give this card, and then sometimes they go in a thank you card and I don't put anything on the inside. That way the person can use it. I am going to do one of my dies shorts. I think it's the 16th of Friday. I'm like looking around for my calendar. I'm going to do some card giveaways on my die shorts. Some of my past lives and cards that I have in my stash. Alright, so here we got our card. This should be good and dry. It's a little stiff now because we've got that color on it. We'll take our glue dot, and then I just put it on there, but then I'm going to squeeze the glue dot around that baker's twine to kind of make it smaller so it's not going to be too yucky on the card. Alright, let me trim my tails. Now they also, even though it wasn't listed on the recipe, and that's one thing I have learned too, like when I've been doing this, I'm like, well, I see this and I don't see that on the recipe. It was these are the glossy dots assortment, so these were used as well. Now I didn't use these on my twist card, but I am doing this like the catalog. All right, so one baby one, and then kind of a bigger one. I didn't use the big ones. I'm just pushing them off there. And they're like slide. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and another baby one. And I don't think I put them in the same spot like on any of the cards. All right, so there is that. So there's the first one, so you can see that bling. All right, super cute. All right, so let me move some of this stuff aside here, and then we will do my twist. Now the twist one, you already saw me do the whatchamacallit, my greeting, and that was on the Flirty Flamingo cardstock, just like the other one. This one, because some people will go, I don't want to color. I don't want to color. I can't color. Da 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 da! The DSP to the rescue. So this DSP also cuts out, or the dies also cut out the DSP. So this card, we're going to use the DSP for flowers instead. So I'm just poking some of these out. These cute little hearts. They're just adorable. And a lot of times I just go like this when I take it out of the thing, and then they fall out. But all right, so let's see here. Now I also did some changes. Let me look at, I have pieces everywhere. Is this how you, when you stamp, is this how it is for you too? Do you have stuff everywhere? I hope so. All right. Unless it bothers you, then I hope not. All right, so we have our piece. Now this time I cut it down a little smaller so that we could see our white card around the edge. Because I'm always like, if I'm going to use the white card, I want to see it. So that's just my take on it. All right, I also, this is the inside of the card. So the same thing as I did before. But then I was having so much fun cutting out flowers, I cut out a couple extra. Alright, so that's going to go in there. So I have, I think it's this one. It doesn't really matter. I think it's this one. So I'm just going to put that on the inside. I picked the wrong one. I picked the wrong one. It's not a big deal. All right, so this is going to go on here. So now that has a little bit of the front of the card on the inside. Again, I will not stamp anything on the inside so that I can write a note or somebody else can. All right. Now we'll do the same thing as we did before. We're going to build these off of the actual card. All right. Leave the flower, leave the holes alone. All right, now I also chose the big flower this time. So let's start putting our card together. All right, so we're going to go big flower in the center. And then I have a couple of these. So it's pretty cool that we have DSP that matches the stamp set and the die. All right, so we've got 2 on the edge there. I'm looking at my finished one. All right, then we have this one. So I'm going to come here. And then this one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my leaves and I'm just going to stick them underneath the flower. So I have a little bit more flowers going on. So these are part of that DSP too. So then I'm just going to stick them up underneath. Like that. So then you can go, oh, you know, which do you like? Do you like to sit in color? Then you might like, you know, the other one. Or do you like to die cut? So each one takes a little bit of time because, you know, there's the die cutting to do. All right, so we have our little congratulations. So that goes on there. Now this time I am not coloring the baker's twine. I'm just leaving it white. I'm leaving it au naturel. And then just get my tails. But I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to stick it on the glue dot, squeeze that glue dot around it, just to kind of get some of that tackiness off of it. So we've got our congratulations. Trim, trim, trim. All right, bring it over. Now I'm also using a different bling. Now these are new this year. These are the Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels. So you may have missed them in the catalog thinking they were just like the regular ones, and they're not. And I hope the camera can pick how beautiful they are. They have that iridescent look to them. They almost remind me of, they're kind of a mix between the iridescent bling and then the opals, but they mixed them together to make these pearls, and they're beautiful. So we will stick a few here and there. 1, 2, because I didn't want the cards to have, like, sometimes I don't change them too much. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I wanted to, because some people don't like to color. And I thought, you know what? We're going to do one with the whatchamacallit? With the one where it has a DSP, so you don't have to color. All right, I was like looking all over for these. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our dimensionals on the back side where the flower is, so we're not going to see the dimensional showing through the front of the card. And that looks good. Because depending on how you placed that die that cuts out that lattice, you might not have room on the side, or you might. So just, if you put your flowers on first, they will hide, or whatever you use with this die. It doesn't have to be these flowers. Now, since I cut that down, you don't see as much of this DSP, but you do see it peeking through, you know, the holes. All right, so let me bring the other cards so then you can let me know which one you like the best. This is always the fun. All right, so I like them both as usual. They both are super pretty. All right, but here is the Mimeograph Monday with a twist. So this is the one that I cased from the catalog, my version of how I think they did it. And then this is my twist where I used the DSP in the die. So this one was coloring with the blends, and this one is just the DSP cut out. And I think they both turned out pretty. This one definitely with that black in there. I think this would have looked really nice with black embellishments. Even the black grosgrain ribbon would have looked nice with this as well. And it would just emphasize the black ink on this one. With this has the softer edges because you don't have any black on here. So anyways, all right, so let me spin. How can I do the spin? I'm like always, make sure I wear pants if I'm gonna spin, so because you can see my pants. So anyways, so hopefully you like those too. Let me know which one you like the best. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any questions about the Hippo class, let me know as well. I can only ship in the USA, and like I said, that's while supplies last. So I will just leave that registration open as long as I can until supplies run out. Same with the birthday piggy class, which is November. It's the same thing while supplies last, or when they run out of the dies, basically, or till I take enough names that I'm like, okay, I don't want to do any more than that. Just, you know, because it's a lot of work. So I love what I do, but at the same time, I like to sleep at night. So anyways, all right, so I'm going to say see you later. I will see you tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays, and that will be at 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.